Hey, before we wrap up at the end, can you do me a favor, Paul? Can we get a Gilligan? See if you can find a Gilligan. That British Virgin Island trip, you guys, was so wonderful. Again, this is Jason Hall filling in for Craig Sewing. I've got Travis Selling, one of the top loan officers for Team Home Loans, a branch of Synergy One Lending, in with us. Craig asked us to fill in for him. We moved our show up from the 7 o'clock hour to the 6 o'clock. I'm just back from a wonderful 2 weeks at the British Virgin Islands, where for 7 of those days we rented our own little yacht, and I felt like the Gilligan crew. We did some fun. I've owned a boat for 20 years, but I've never been on a sailboat. My boat's 23 feet. This thing's 43 feet. It's a whole different monster sailing. Some people love sailing. Harbor sail boats. I got to call it out for these guys. Wonderful job. Tom and his son Keenan, unbelievable host. They set this up. They're right here in Harbor Island. If you want to rent a small sailboat, a big sailboat, they have everything there. So that's a call out for them. Keenan, Tom, but we're down to the last thing. There it is. Give me that.
From this tropic port aboard this tiny ship, the mate was a mighty sailing man, the skipper brave and
That was Skipper too. I'm going to keep that. Kayleen, I know you're listening. Rick Huffman, John Konecki, Manda Hall, Carolyn Konecki we just had on. How about that Gilligan tune? I was humming that on our trip, on some of the stuff that we did. It was fun because, I'm not used to pulling up this mast and having this jib, and then they do this zigzag jig jab, and I don't know what they call it. And I'm calling like tic-tac-toe, and it was just a wonderful time. If you ever want to check it out, check out Harbor Sailboats. Ask them about the trip out there in the British Virgin Islands. Tell them Jason Hall sent you, Craig Sewing sent you. I mean, it was an amazing, amazing trip. I think it only cost us about $3,500 to rent the boat for a week. We split it through, 3 couples. So it was, relatively inexpensive. You still got to pay for food. You got to pay for your plane to get out there, stuff like that. But amazing bucket list. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. The water's in the high 70s, low 80s. It's wonderful, wonderful. But this is the Craig Sewing Show. We're the consumer advocates. We are the mortgage guys here on the team. Craig really loves Synergy One Lending. He's a member in that team. He helps out a lot with doing stuff with Synergy One Lending. He has a huge, huge real estate event coming up next Thursday, the 26th. Real Estate Mastery. He's got some of the best real estate speakers in the world, let alone San Diego, coming. We've got a top economist coming. We've got Craig Sewing speaking, kicking us off. Tom Ferry coming into town. If you want to have anything to do with real estate, if you ever thought about being a real estate agent, thought about being a lender, if you're a title rep, thought about being a title rep, escrow rep, anything to do in the real estate business, whether you do it, thought about doing it, highly, highly recommend. Go to craigsewing.com, realestatemastry2016.com, get signed up. Seats are limited. It's down at the convention center. If you hook up Craig somehow or get out to me, we might be able to get you VIP. We got some VIP stuff happening after the event. We've got some special seating for the VIPs. So that is coming up. We are the real estate
excited for that.
team that helped Craig Sewing on that, and we are the mortgage guys. So what advice do you got, Travis, to just people listening? They're putting offers in. Maybe they're not getting the offer accepted. Maybe they're thinking about buying a house. They're not sure if they can. What's some great advice you can hand out?
The one that I would do the most is just do your research on who you're working with, not just your agent, which you're probably going to go to Zillow or Redfin or wherever website out there and
at least Google them, right?
Yeah, Google them.
Google Kyle Whissel.
He's done one deal in the last year, or he's like Kyle, and they've done 300 deals in the last year. So who do you want to work for? Considering you don't necessarily pick up the tab as the buyer, the seller pays the commission for the agent. So you can basically drive a Ferrari or you can drive a Pinto for the exact same price. So do your research there. Same with the mortgage professional. You want to make sure that they have good reviews, that they're not, constantly getting written up for over-promising, under-delivering, which happens quite a bit. Where they just, you're approved, which is a yes man. So you want to actually make sure, I say, the fun is in the home, not in the loan. So we understand no one wants to give up their tax returns and financials and stuff, but you got to you got to eat your vegetables, and you got to do that before you go, or else you're going to have problems in your transaction, which is why we actually have so many great reviews online, and people can find us that we have smooth transactions, and that's why other people like to accept loans or offers that come with Team Home Loans. So not only is it you want to have a good agent that's well connected, but someone like yourself that's been in the industry forever is a lot of these agents, and they know you. So they say, if this guy's coming over from Team Home Loans and Jason Hall, he's already closed like 4 deals in the past, with me and my company. I can pretty much trust that if I accept his borrower's offer, it's going to get through. Because at the end of the day, that's what they care about. They care about getting an offer that's, if they're, offering with a loan, that loan will actually
So
happen.
who you work with matters.
Yeah, precisely. So, that's the slogan there at Whissel, and
right.
We could definitely piggyback off of that as well, because we definitely know quite a few agents in the area. They know us. We have a glowing reputation.
Yeah, we've got a great reputation. We're out there helping people. I've been doing this for over 20 years. Know a lot of agents in town, hundreds and hundreds of them. I can tell you some of the good ones, some of the bad ones, the ones to stay away from, the ones to work with. But some of the best advice I would tell people is it's good to work with a home team. You want to work, when I mean home team, when you're trusting your largest investment that you're probably ever going to make in your life, and that's purchasing your primary residence, whether it's $100,000, which doesn't really exist anymore in San Diego, which I used to do, or whether it's a $500,000, $700,000, $1 million, why would you trust somebody you'll never be able to meet? So many mortgage companies are now handled not only out of the county, not only out of our state, they are handled out of our country. Some of the largest institutions, Bank of, and I won't mention who they are, actually handles their mortgage operations overseas. Pretty close to probably where I was in the Virgin Islands. Do you want to trust your largest investment? Send your personal credit report, your tax returns, pay stubs with somebody who's making $4 an hour, not here that you can sit down with locally. Maybe you can sit down with one person here, but not the whole team. The unique thing about Team Home Loans or branch of Synergy One Lending that Craig Sewing is a huge advocate for, knows all the owners and partners of that, you can sit down with the president, Tori Larson. Sorry, Tori. You can sit down with Tori, the president of Synergy One, if you need to. You can sit down with Tim. Tim's the CFO, and his brother Tyler's the CFO. I guess Tim kind of does everything as the youngest brother. You could sit down with myself, Anthony Finney, director of operations. All of us. We're one of the few mortgage companies that is headquartered here in San Diego. So that's what I mean by home team. It's a huge thing.
And just like I said, knowing a lot of times we've actually done business with the seller's agent. They recognize us, and versus I've literally, right now the market's hot. We all know that. So
a lot of activity.
Lot of offers on the properties very quickly at asking price over. So who do you pick? Like, there's 5 offers here. Which one do you pick? Usually it's one that that you might recognize.
It's not always the highest price.
It's not.
Because a lot of these prices all come in. They want highest and best. Oh, well, I'll give you the same. Well, if you're all shooting the same, the seller and the listing agent has to decide, what offer do I pick?
Yeah. Which one is going to blow up? Which one's actually going to go through? And this one is coming from an internet lender, which doesn't even have a loan officer look at it. Like some computer looked at a screenshot and said, "Okay, you're good." I literally have heard stories where sellers agents have rejected that. They just won't even consider it because their job, if it goes sour during the transaction, they could be fired by the seller's agent and they can be replaced very quickly and they lose a commission. So they need to make sure they pick whichever deal is going to close at the highest price for their seller. But closing is more important than highest price, because if I offer you $1 million and it doesn't close, you got nothing.
You got nothing. I'd rather get 900 that closes than $1 million that never closes. That should make sense to most of you listening. So, again, we're getting ready to wrap up here. Travis, had a wonderful time. Thanks for bringing me back into the relative market, getting stuff back. Craig Sewing, I hope I did you some justice. You are the man. It's hard to live up and sit in your seat and use your mic as I am right now, but I do appreciate the opportunity. Again, this is Jason Hall and Travis Selling, Team Home Loans. Again, you're listening to the Craig Sewing Show. Craig, thank you so much. Thank you guys for listening. Everybody have a wonderful and blessed rest of the week.